Welcome to the most passionate content for card collectors on YouTube and possibly the whole entire internet. As usual, I am your host, Jake Roy, 90s Bball cards here on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, maybe TikTok, but I can guarantee you this will not be the week for me to get back onto TikTok. I'm just trying to get back to my card of the day on Instagram, which I have been slacking on, so this has been a very busy couple of months, and this week is extraordinarily busy for me. But anyway, enough about me. I'm really excited about today's video. We have got a guest that some may actually have interacted with, may know him better than they think they do. So if you are at all interested in cards and on some of the groups on Facebook, there is a good chance you are in a group that our guest today has started or is an admin, and he is all over the Facebook card space. So you may know him as just admin, you may know him as Jay Koski. There's a couple of other names that he goes by, but guaranteed you have not seen his face on Facebook. He is pretty secretive, so it took a long time of corresponding with him and building a relationship with him over the last few years before we were able to link up, and actually some of our scheduling also got in the way. So really excited to bring to you one of the guys, or probably the most mysterious guy in the card world, definitely the most mysterious on Facebook. Very few people know what he looks like, but today you will learn more about him, get to meet him, and see a lot about his history in cards and his PC. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. All right, Jay, thank you very much for joining me. I know we've been chatting, for a number of years about cards, and in the last couple of months trying to coordinate our schedules together to try to jump on a call together. So thank you very much for jumping on. How you doing?
Good, always a pleasure.
Awesome. So a lot of people may know of you, and they might not know that they know you through Facebook. So one of the things that I got introduced to you through is Facebook pages. I know you are the admin or creator of a number of quite a few Facebook pages, and have kind of a very mysterious profile with a great picture of Jordan, by the way. I do love that. And so what is it like being one of the hardest to track down but most prolific Facebook admin and group starters?
Well, Jake, when I first started this out, this was about 2012, and I was going back into cards and trying to find an avenue. And at that time, everything's online, eBay, and stuff like that. So I joined a couple of Facebook groups for basketball. At that time, most groups only had 100 members. I don't know if you'll believe that, but once upon a time that was the case. Then I got myself involved with some friends overseas, and the thing is, I didn't want my personal Facebook to be linked to cards. So that's when I decided to go with the avatar of the Michael Jordan Rare Air as my profile. And people knew me from that profile, and I didn't want to change it because they might get confused that it might be somebody else. So as the years went by, as I made my own groups, I just continued to use that profile, and I took pride in it because in such a way that I got identified based on my knowledge of the hobby instead of what I look like or how I carry myself. So a lot of people trusted me with my knowledge and stuff like that, not knowing the man behind the avatar. So of course, people would see me at shows and stuff like that. They would get to see my real face. Once in a while, when I have nothing better to do, I'll decide to show up with my face somewhere in a video somewhere. Yeah. But the thing is, it's not something that a lot of people will see. For me, at the end of the day, it's who you deal with and not how the person looks that's important.
Absolutely.
That.
So 2012, yeah, Facebook was a very different landscape. I mean, even just thinking back to, 2016, it seems like, it's a different world. I can only imagine, because when I was looking at, I think the largest Facebook group for cards that I was looking at, when I started jumping into the Facebook groups was like 3,000 members or so. And I think when I first joined the Penny Hardaway group that Brian Wells had, that was the first Facebook card related group that I joined. It was less than 1,000 members in there, and we were all diehard Penny fans. And now I think it might be close to 3,000 guys in that Penny group. So the Facebook card world is a very different landscape. Just in the last 2 years, I can only imagine the leaps and bounds that you've seen it grow. In almost the last 10.
Yep. And the growth is a good thing and a bad thing. My biggest group right now is about 6,000.
Wow.
We don't even have time to add people every day. The thing is, we pre-screen everybody. If a profile looks suspicious, we just hit the delete button. And if they really want to get into a group, they'll message us. If I wanted to get 20,000 members, it's so easy nowadays to keep on adding people. But that also means that there's a lot more work for admins because you have to deal with spam and a lot of those things. So slow growth, I think, is better for me. There are groups out there that's like 20,000. Kudos to them. But I don't think I can deal with that 20,000 member headache.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing too that probably a lot of people don't appreciate, and I probably don't fully grasp either. Is like being an admin on any card page. I can only imagine the kind of nonsense that may come your way. I'm sure that it's pretty gratifying at times too, trying to help people make connections and such. But is there any story that you could share that might be, like a kind of a good way to shed some light for folks who might not be aware of some of the less fun sides of being an admin on a Facebook page?
So my philosophies are a little different. For me, when you join a group, it is not a right. It is a privilege. And whatever the house rules are has to be followed. If somebody wants a free-for-all group, that will entail chaos. That's where you get the scammers, the people who try to take advantage of other collectors, the sharks, and stuff like that. An ideal group to me is something that people can enjoy, feel safe, and something that, there's a little bit of admin involvement when needed, but at the same time, you try to let your members, kind of do what they want as long as it's within the parameters of the rules. So after so many experimentations of joining groups and, being admins with other people, one day Brian and I just decided, what? It's time for us to join forces and make our own group and be as tolerant as we can, but at the same time be as safe as we can. So then we created the worldwide groups. The main group is the NBA Cards Worldwide, and that has me, Brian Wells, Danielle, Aaron Salazar, Keelan Day, Amir, who's not that active right now, and recently my son joined as part of the admin group. Our philosophy is, we try to be on the side doing the admin stuff. If there's a post that needs to be removed, just delete it. If a member has to be removed, just remove them from the group. If they really want to be in, they will contact us. That way, visibility sometimes becomes a negative thing if admins are too much involved. So we try to do everything on the back end now. And of course, there's dramas. People are going to get mad at me. You're going to have a target in your back sometimes. You get threats and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if people are like that towards admins, they're going to be like that towards other members too. And we don't want that happening. So Brian plays the good cop. I play the bad cop. That's basically what's happening. And Danielle is basically somebody who plays the bad cop too. So, you have to have people who, in case they can't approach us, they can be able to approach like Brian and Keelan. And sometimes when somebody has to throw down the hammer, that's when Danielle and me come in. But this past 2 years, it's been a little bit more manageable, unlike before. Less politics, less drama. There's an occasion that I have to kick somebody who I've known for years, but we don't take any favors or any privileges with that. If they don't know how to go about themselves, then they don't belong to the group.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think in the last year, I had seen a situation arise that I really want to commend, all you guys for. It was a long-time member that I think a lot of us all have, at least had some conversations with. And, there's a situation that came up and you guys were very transparent with how it was handled. And everybody, it seemed like, was pretty happy with the outcome. So I think that's the other thing, too, is like you guys don't just, take these situations lightly. You try to be as fair and transparent as possible, which I think is a breath of fresh air. Because I've gotten booted from a group for I have no idea why. I reach out to people, they didn't say any reason why, and it's like, okay, well, that's one less group that I can go into. But I think the transparency is a breath of fresh air.
Well, at the end of the day, we did realize that these people have families too, and I think I know the situation you're referring to. I'm not, we'll talk about that person off the air, but at the end of the day, we've dealt with these people. We've had good relationships. Then, at a certain point, either they become greedy or do something stupid that merits them to, to be removed from a group. But there's really no point of zoning somebody after the fact. We're not judge or jury. We're just here to keep the group safe. Some people are still going to deal with certain people that get booted because they have good experiences. We just don't want to get involved or have them associated with us when they don't need to. Sure. But at the end of the day, these are still people. You don't want Facebook people calling their house or sending them mail or hate mail and stuff like that. We just want to get on the business of doing cars, and that's it.
For sure. Now, on the topic of people getting greedy, not necessarily this is the case here, but I think in the last week, one of the biggest pieces of news is the PSA grading charges, and I've heard some people saying, PSA is getting greedy, and I know you do a lot of PSA submissions. You're one of the first people that I saw doing live showings of the PSA submissions for groups. So what are your feelings on the news of the PSA charges and what's going on with some of the changes at PSA?
Okay, so first, I am a recognized preferred dealer for PSA. I am in their dealers list. So if you Google PSA dealers list, my name is going to show up as J. Coscolluela or J. Cosky Cards. I do not work for PSA. I am just accredited by PSA, meaning to say I've gone through the background check to make sure I just don't take people's cars and run away and disappear. So that's a requirement with PSA, alongside with the volume that I'm required to have to be able to maintain my status. I think as much as it hurts the pockets nowadays to send cars to PSA, I've kind of slowed down myself on my own personals. I think it is needed. When I say it's needed, a correction needs to be needed. We can't have a company taking millions of cards and it's just sitting in their building. The acquisition of PSA by NAT, I think, is a good thing, because for those who don't know, PSA does not charge until your orders are fulfilled. So if you have 50 million cards inside the building and they haven't been processed and serviced, they're not able to make their money until those things go back to the customers. So there's money sitting in the building that they can't, claim as revenue. So if they keep on just piling the stuff, when is the bottleneck going to end? And they tried so many things. They tried to increase the bulk ultra modern because it's the largest submission, trying to deter people from just sending random stuff, and it's not working, because what people are doing, they're just doing 20-day, they're just going 10-day, and so on and so forth. When people buy a LeBron James 2019 Prism for $180, $200, $500, that was the peak. Of course, you're gonna gamble $50 to submit that card, And as long as that thing is available for people, everybody who don't even collect, who just want to make a quick buck, will start doing it and send anything and everything that they have and hopefully, half of them stick, that they can double up in their money. Just this last few months, you'll see people do excessive crossovers, trying to double their money from BGS to PSA, and it's like printing money. But the thing is, the success rate is very low, because PSA also understands that if they keep on doing that, people are just going to be printing money, and they're just going to be backlogged over and over again. How many times do you hear people cracking BGS, to convert to PSA? You always hear that happening, because they want to double up. Everybody's playing that game, and if it doesn't stop, the population report of BGS is going to be so inaccurate. A lot of those cards are not BGS cards no more. So that's why I guess PSA carries a good value, a premium, because at the end of the day, they're the preferred brand. And when you're the preferred brand, everybody wants to submit with you. And even as they hire people, even as they expanded their building, it takes time for them to hire people, to train people, and to get it right. Now, with the price increase right now, nobody's going to submit those Bball rookie cards. Nobody's going to submit those, base Jordans, because it's too expensive. Believe it or not, these people who submit the Choctaws, the Topps Choctaws, the Topps Kobe 2007, 2008, there's a lot of these cards in PSA. If not for the delays, the market's going to get flooded. And those what you see that are going for thousands of dollars at the PSA 10, guess what? Those are going to come down if all of these orders come out all at the same time, because there's going to be more supply than demand. And every single person has probably submitted at least one of those. Another thing that people need to understand is when you submit so many cards, you're also giving the greatest the option to choose the best ones. So if before they used to look at one Topps Kobe Bryant rookie card, one per day, they're probably looking at per grader. They're probably looking at 30 or 40 of those every day. So what used to be gem mint in their eyes now, this looks better. So this is the gem mint. This is not a gem mint. No, this is now the 7, the random 7 that we see every day now. So the more cards get submitted, the more things people will see in terms of the defects of the card, and so on and so forth. So that's the correction of the hobby. That's basically it's being made by itself. The natural process of what's happening. You see a Toyota on the road, you'll see it on every other street. It becomes a normal everyday car. That's when the Corvettes will stand out. That's where the Bentleys stand out, because you don't see those cars that often. Same with cards, Yep. So one more trend that I'm seeing right now is that because of the money in the hobby, there's a lot of investors coming in. And when you say investors, these are people who can throw away money left and right. And when that happens, there's going to be a good influx of cards coming left and right. And these are mostly modern cards, newer cards. When I say newer cards, these are Panini cards from the last 3 years. And these people are starting to realize they have a PSA 10 of a Luka Doncic base prism. It used to be a $2,000 card, and they could now realize, what? Everybody has this card now. So I need to unload it and get something a little bit more rare. So now they start buying those 90s PSA 10 Kobe Bryants, which in my eyes makes sense, because what are the odds of a 30-year-old card grading PSA 10?
Right.
So everybody's dumping the newer cards, and people are starting to call the new era cards the old 90s junk. Because also the manufacturer, we all know has monopoly, is also printing cards left and right. There's basic hoops, there's premium hoops, there's basic Donruss, there's clear Donruss. It's a product again and again. And the good thing about this PSA price increase is that I think you'll see more raw cards now again. Because before, you rip a box of hoops for $400, they're going to grade every single thing. Now, because the bulk grading is double the price, I'm not going to send I'm probably even going to hesitate sending James Wiseman Hoops rookie card now.
Right.
And in fact, I think the boxes, the prices, they're going to start coming down. Because you can't just break your money even now on a box. Before, you grade the LaMelo Ball Hoops, get a 10, it probably pays for the whole box. You know, and in one box you're guaranteed a LaMelo Ball.
Right.
If you look at the market, the LaMelo Ball hoop started from $200 on eBay. Sold. Now it's $20. You know, so that's gonna stop, you know, those people lining up in Targets cleaning out the product, and I think that's good for the hobby. You know, because people get to enjoy ripping boxes again without having to buy from resellers and stuff like that. No, but that's not gonna correct overnight. That's gonna take a while. Now you're gonna see a lot of more. I think the PSA price increase is a good strategy because guess what? Some of these people are not going to stop. So they're going to start using SGC and BGS for their bulk. These companies are not ready for that. They're going to be more delayed. PSA is going to get out of the hole because they're stopping that from happening right now. You're going to see more mid to high end PSAs. And guess what? The competitors, they're going to die and drown because they're not ready to get whatever people are submitting with PSA. Smart strategy, right?
I think so. I mean, so the last statistic that I saw, I think it was when PSA announced the price changes. They said that they have a backlog of about 15 million cards.
That is correct.
That's I can't even imagine, you know, coming in as a new ownership group, you know, Nat and Cohen and company, and trying to figure out how to dig out of that hole. And it just seems like there's, you know, if the prices stayed at the same level, that demand, it doesn't seem like it's slowing down. If anything, it's increasing exponentially. You know, so I think everybody knew that something had to happen, right?
They just didn't expect it to be this much.
Yeah, a little bit of sticker shock maybe. But I know for like even my personal, I don't grade a lot. So the few cards I was looking at, I have in my collection, I was like, oh, maybe I'll grade this and that and this. You know, after I heard the news, I was taking a second look and saying, okay, you know, just like you're saying, you know, when I see on eBay a 93, 94 Upper Deck rookie card of Penny, now I love Penny. But well, I can't even justify, I can't tell you how many copies of that card I have. I can't justify sending a single one to PSA. It doesn't make me enjoy it anymore. You know, if it's in a slab and, you know, whatever the grade is, you know, is it cooler than 10? Sure. But I just can't justify, you know, spending any money to get that card graded. So hopefully we'll see fewer cards like that and more cards, you know, like, you know, some Luka pink optics getting graded.
Well, one thing you have to understand, they're not going to have this price that high for that long. You know, this is a temporary solution for what is the market today. I don't think they can survive maintaining these prices, you know, moving forward once they catch up. You know, so it might not go back to the original prices, but it is going to come down once they calm down. Just to give you an example, Ship My Cards is tied up with me. Brian Wells, they send their PSA cards to me for submission to PSA. I drop them over to PSA. And just to tell you a story, so my son helps me process this card. So one time he was going through a stack from Ship My Cards and he goes, Jesus Christ. I go, wow, what's wrong? Well, somebody just said a card of Jesus Christ to be graded.
What?
Okay. So that's my example of throw everything in the bucket and let something stick.
Right.
And here's the weird thing. PSA didn't grade it.
Really?
Jake, just imagine if you're the grader and give it a 9, don't you think you're going to get hit by lightning? Right? What grader will touch the card? I asked you that.
That is a great, I couldn't even have thought of that, but that is, wow. Yep. Makes sense.
Also, for my card, this card got graded. It was a John F. Kennedy Relic card, okay, that had 3 strands of his hair.
Kind of a little quirky.
You know, when we were handling the card, we go, ew, you know? Right? So
yeah. That's
so
creepy.
People are submitting stuff that I don't know why. I don't really know why. And here's the thing. The Jesus Christ card, I believe, is an Upper Deck card.
Interesting. Was it like a Goodwin Championship or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. So it's crazy, you know. People would submit anything.
Right. I mean, well, we're seeing the Allen and Ginter egg card and the cryptocurrency cards PSA graded. Those things are going for amounts that I never thought were possible. So it's I mean, sometimes I think those obscure things are just kind of fun for novelty aspects. But the a card of Jesus is so I've never seen one, that's for sure.
At least now I have a story to tell, right?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
No, but that's an example of why, you know, this thing got so crazy. Everybody's grading everything. You know, it's the sky's the limit to make money. The hobby hasn't been this healthy since I've started this. I've started in 1988, and I've never seen the hobby, you know, get this good. No business has ever gone as fast growth as what we're experiencing in the hobby. At a certain point in time, there's going to be a market correction somewhere. You know, we are still in a pandemic. You know, we are still in a position where a lot of people don't have jobs. We're still in a position where people haven't paid their mortgages in a while. You know, so how long, you know, this surge is going to last? You know, we might as well enjoy it right now. You know,
for sure.
I'm enjoying the shows I'm promoting. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, one of the things too, I think, with that is, like you said, the hobby is healthier than I think we've ever seen it, and you know, we definitely want to see it continue to grow. You know, I want to have my kids enjoy the hobby as I did growing up, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, a lot of us are still locked in our homes, and one of the things I think about is, you know, when you're sitting at home and you're, you know, on a Teams or a Zoom call or whatever, you know, conference call, you can, you know, possibly be sitting there and clean up some cards to send to PSA, or throwing a listing on eBay of, you know, some card that you found. You know, you have more time potentially to be going through cards, looking at cards, you know, reliving the memories and the magic, and, you know, less time is taken to go to dinner with your loved ones, or go watch a movie with your kids at the movie theater. Like, those type of things will come back, and we'll be taking our discretionary income and our time. But at the same time, I think that, you know, when you get bit by the bug, you know, we were talking earlier, we know some people who have gotten out of the hobby, and we know they'll be back. You know, it never leaves you, you know, just kind of take a little time out for a minute for whatever reason, and, you know, inevitably it pulls you right back in, right?
I've quit 3 times. You know, once an addict, always an addict. You always come back, no matter what.
I always say it's the best hobby in the world, and, you know, I think that that's part of, you know, the staying power is part of the reason why, because, you know, whatever it is, you know, and there's definitely the thrill, I think, too, like you said, you know, an addict, you know, there's different thrills for different people. For me, opening packs or finding a bargain card, you know, is the thrill. If I can get a card in my, you know, PC, even if it's, you know, if it goes for $20 and I can get it for $15, and I can get it in my PC for, you know, a little bit less than market, that's a thrill for me. You know, and whatever that hit is for people, it's that thing that keeps us coming back.
It's like Jake pulling this card.
Let's see that. Yep, absolutely. That was a thrill. Card.
And the story behind this card, when he posted this on Facebook, I messaged him. It was available for sale, and he tells me it's no longer available. You know, and the next thing I know, it shows up in my mailbox because my admin friends bought it for me. You know, way back in the day, that was what, a $600 card, $800 card?
You know, hard to say. It could have been even less than that.
Mm-hmm. You know, so somebody gifted me what used to be a $600 card, and now a PSA 10 out of 25. People estimate it to be what, 25 grand now.
Easily.
Hey, Jake's floating fire.
You know, and the great story too, back to what we were just talking about, and the PSA prices going up, and, you know, the potential for wax to be more readily available. You know, when I got that card, it was, you know, an August afternoon. I just happened to need to go and get some stuff at Target. I went in. I wanted to get a pack just because I wanted to rip something. I said, oh, you know, I've had some fun with Optic in the past. I pulled a Thon Maker rookie auto that I still have and probably will have for the rest of my days. So I said, oh, this will be fun to rip. And that was before the LeBron, the one that people call his Lakers rookie card. Before that card had taken off, Luka Mania was just starting. And, there was a number of products on the shelf. And I just said, hey, this value pack, let's rip it. And, was blown away to get that card. And then I was telling my wife about this great card, and she was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I said, well, you need to go get a pack and see if you can get some beginner's luck. And a week later, I was able to go into that same Target. The same stuff was still on the shelf. She was able to get a value pack. She was able to rip it, have some fun with it. There was plenty of it available for everybody to get a little bit to have some fun. And what a difference it just 1 year made. And, now we're 2 years after that fact. If the current market dynamics, I think, of retail were taking place then, safe to say that probably wouldn't be in your collection right now, because it might be tied up in a listing on eBay of somebody trying to get 10x what they paid for that value pack.
Yeah, those are the days you can still get packs off Target, though. Now Absolutely. You have to kind of wrestle people to get something off the shelf. Well, the reason I wanted that pink when you posted it, because I used to own the blue. I actually just recently sold that for like a month ago. I did a partial trade of the blue that was out of 49. People like the blue and blue. Mm-hmm. And I got back this card in return, which is Fast Break Blue, also PSA 10, and 15 grand on the side. So it was like, the feeling you can't explain when you sell something that you personally pulled and you get 15 grand plus a nice card on top of that, coming from collecting from 1988, that's unheard of. Cards to me today, I had to sell off some of my collection, but it's been life-changing. Having money set on the side for future reasons, not for cards, it's something that you won't imagine that you can get off this hobby before. And now, when I sold one card to a very good friend of ours, he bought it for 36 grand. My son goes, should I order a Tesla now? So right. Before, you don't hear that from cars, Before, you got to get a cell phone out of a card, but that's about it.
If you're lucky, right? Yeah, and I know a friend who sold the vast majority of his collection to buy a house for his family, and he always made the agreement, he told me, with his wife, that if our dream home comes available, I will sell my collection to fund us getting that. And he never thought that situation would ever occur. And what's happened in not only the card market, but also he was able to find a great deal in the housing market, and his collection was able to fund them buying a new home. Which I can't think of being able to fund a home purchase with my collection, but what better way to spend that money than live in something that you're going to cherish with your family for the rest of your life potentially.
Well, I'm hoping that if I can sell everything, I can buy a second home to rent out. So maybe I'll just do part-time for Starbucks for insurance and just live out of the rental of the other house. So maybe.
There you go. Yeah. Use cards to make an income stream for yourself. It's the possibilities that I think what we're seeing right now are endless for people like ourselves who have been in this for years. I haven't been I've been collecting for, what has it been, 25 years now. So I think you get a couple of years on me for collecting, but it's the market always changes. It's always different, and we learn new things every day. But I think this is like one of the most fun times I've ever seen. It's different, but it's fun too.
Yeah, being a reseller and collector at the same time for all these years, I can't just keep every single card. There are cards that I don't want to tell a story no more because I used to have it and I don't want to see the price today. You can't buy a card until you sell a card. That's the hobby. So I just enjoy that. I didn't lose any money doing this. I actually built my PC off of cards that I sold, and grew my collection from there. But now it's a little harder for me to buy because the prices are too high. I'd rather sell, and just see the rewards of it. I would buy once in a while. I recently bought a Jordan Auto for about $4,000. An autofocus.
Nice.
The thing is, I didn't buy it until I sold something, you know. So some cards I want to invest and keep for a while, maybe sell in the long run. But I'm not aggressively buying like before, Before I just buy anything I can see. But nowadays, you have to be very selective because you want to be selective enough to know that you're not going to lose money at the back end, because people's interest shifts every day. We saw a spike of Kobe recently, and Durant. Now Durant's starting to go back down again because he's injured. So you want to be a little bit careful with that. Like a lot of people put too much money on Luka for the base prism. Now it's going down. So I need to be a little bit careful with things like that.
For sure. So that autofocus, you really got me excited when you mentioned that. Is that's the acetate with it's numbered to 23?
It's not numbered.
Okay, not the numbered one.
It is the clear card, thick plastic.
Yep.
So it's not graded. I don't think it's going to grade well. I think it's going to be a PSA 8. But Jordan is Jordan to me.
Right.
Like penny's penny to you,
Exactly.
I will not spend, $10,000 on a Luka auto. That's just not me. I'll probably spend $5,000 on a Jordan auto.
For sure.
Especially, if you've been collecting as long as the two of us, players who are vets, their signatures are more interesting. The cards looks beautiful because they sign full. Today's players, they sign Lulu, they sign JM, ZW,
I think it was it Cam Reddish who just kind of had like a little check mark last year. And I think I saw Joakim Noah. I think my brother pulled a rookie auto of his, and it was like a smiley face.
Gobert is one of the worst ones too.
Rudy Gobert, yeah. It's like you wouldn't catch, Elgin Baylor or Jerry West or Bill Russell, the few that he would sign, doing anything like that.
Like I signed PC Donovan Mitchell. I saw him at the Las Vegas, the rookie thing. The preseason thing. So him and Luka I admired the most because when we saw them, they would sign anything for anybody.
Interesting.
So Luka would scribble and Donovan would sign full. But as the years go by, if you look at the Donovan Mitchell autos, it's starting to get a little bit, sloppy. So I'm being more selective with that now. Before I didn't care if it was a sticker or not, but with so much options right there now, I learned to appreciate the better autos, the non-sticker autos and stuff like that. So, but I'm still not a fan of patch autos for whatever reason. Simply because people, take out the original patch and put a different patch on it. It's not appealing to me. The only thing that was appealing to me was something that I personally pulled.
Right.
Which I was telling you earlier, which is this one. So that I learned to appreciate, out of 10. I tried to sell this card for $1,000 before and nobody wanted it. I opened a full case because I was after the next day auto, which I still don't have today. Keelan Day pulled one back in the day, never told me he pulled it. Sold it to somebody else, and I never got to get one.
Wow.
But I kept that one. It is on the market, maybe.
The price is right.
The price is right. Something you pull is always harder to sell.
Absolutely.
But I told myself, you know what? If it's gonna liquidate to something that can better my life, why not? So,
absolutely.
I wasn't Luka magnet. I suck in opening product. I always get nothing. But Luka year, I was able to pull so many silvers. I was able to pull that rookie patch auto. I was able to pull an optic blue out of 49. I was able to pull a prism autograph of Luka and stuff like that. I wish I could still afford the boxes because I pull Luka left and right. But
right. You get the Luka hot hands. Boxes. And so I know that you've talked about you collect Luka, you collect Jordan, you side PC Donovan Mitchell. So what's your, if you had to summarize your PC, What do you focus on? What's your PC consist of?
I would grab any Jordan that I can. It's getting less and less now because it's too expensive. My second PC was actually Lillard.
Okay.
The reason I collected Lillard is because his rookie year he did not sign with Panini.
Right.
He was exclusive to Leaf at that time, and I like his demeanor. He's always the underdog in everything, and he always had a chip in his shoulder that he fought it. He fought to have his name out there. And 2012, which was the first year that Panini really started putting out autos, he only had 4 autos released in packs from Leaf. So from Panini. So Leaf had the rights to Lillard, and Panini sued Leaf for copyright for the Crusade design.
Yep.
And in turn, Leaf paid Panini with sticker autos of Lillard for majority, and had Panini sign some of the cards in person. So they re-released a lot of the pre-released stuff of Lillard in redemption packs for autographs for Lillard. So I thought, he's a good player. If ever he blows up, his autos are gonna be, well sought after because it's very limited than any other player rookie year. So this is one of my Lillard stuff.
Beautiful.
This used to be a BGS 9.5. I was lucky enough to cross that over.
Wow, very nice.
Again, don't attempt to cross over because you're just gonna throw away your money. Okay. I did try to cross this over. A lot of people prefer the silver over the green. But a lot of people don't know. 2012, this is the harder pull.
Absolutely.
This is a $10,000 card. This is a $1,200 card. I'd be stupid to sell this because it's so undervalued.
Right.
I don't normally buy graded, but this was about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I spent $800 for the first time for a graded card, but today it's worth it.
Whew.
It's probably a $7,000 card now.
Absolutely.
And I'm always skeptical buying graded. The only reason I bought this card is I know it doesn't grade well because it's so thick.
Right. Absolutely. The cards are brutal.
So that card was National Treasures, and that wasn't pack pull. That was from the redemption. Okay. Now, this was another redemption. I graded this myself. Beautiful. This is Gold Standard.
I love Gold Standard. I miss that.
Yeah, they have it in Chronicles now. Part of Chronicles.
Yep.
Then this was also redemption. The red is the out of 25 patch version. The white is the regular. Now this is one of the pack pulled ones, which is I believe this is Innovation or Intrigue. This is Intrigue. So this came out of a pack. This also came out of a pack.
Wow, so that's a great patch.
4 products that came out of pack from Lillard Autos is Immaculate, Flawless, Innovation, and Intrigue. Oof. This is the Innovation. That's also from the pack. This is a redemption, the Select.
Okay. Yep. I love that first year Select design too.
Mm-hmm. This is also from Intrigue. One is the patch.
Oh,
one is the patch. This is pack pull too. Then this is not technically a rookie. It was a rookie card, but re-released.
Okay.
As a buyback from Replay.
Yep.
I'm still chasing the original one of this, but I don't know if I want to pay the price.
Of course.
You know. This one is a buyback in the day. This is a silver version.
Yep.
So some people cracked this out and took out the auto, to have the card graded. I'm not gonna do that. That's blasphemy.
Right.
This is the non-silver version.
Yep.
Because that's still the silver Prism.
Right.
A 10 of that is $10,000. So people bought this, took out the sticker, cleaned it, and sent it to PSA.
Oh,
I'm not gonna do that.
no, that kills me.
You know. These were also pack pulled.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Now, I know you're not a Panini guy, but this is a case hit right here, rookie.
That's gorgeous. I don't think I've ever seen one of those, honestly. I'm not deep in my knowledge of Panini, but every so often they do surprise me. That's a beauty.
There's one card. Okay, so this card is beautiful. So I showed you this earlier. Okay, this is a buyback. So what happened here is, because Lillard was exclusive to Leaf at that time, somebody started buying Lillard autos. I think it was Panini, and had a PSA DNA to be able to sell a card on the secondary market as auto. So this is how it came in.
Wow.
Okay. And I saw this on eBay, and I haven't seen one ever since. Somebody took it out of the slab and had it graded BGS, which doesn't happen. So
that's incredible.
It's the only one in existence that's graded BGS. Of the same card auto.
That's really cool. I never knew that.
Yeah, in terms of Lillard, I'm probably the nerd of the Lillard cards.
I love Dame though.
You know, that's why I collected Lillard. Now I do have a fun PC, which is Eddie Jones. Yeah. I don't think we have the time for me to put out all the Eddie Jones, but I probably have three-row boxes in magnetics of Eddie Jones, all autographs, multiple copies. I probably have almost 300 autos of Eddie Jones.
Wow.
There's a UD Black Retro that came out of 99. I probably own half of those that's out there.
Wow.
You know, so I'm trying to get as much as I can on that card and try to own every single card. But ever since I announced that I wanted that card, I used to pay $10 for it. Now people are listing it for $30. I'm still not biting, sorry.
You want it, but not that bad.
Sell it to me for $15-20. I'll buy it. $30. You know what? I don't nickel and dime, but I'm just gonna inflate my own prices that way. No way. Maybe if I'm down to my last 10 copies, I'll do that. You know, but I'm still about 40 copies away, so never mind. So I did keep a little Donovan Mitchell on the side. Not too many cards, maybe like a dozen cards on the side. I did start keeping some Kobe's.
Sure.
I'm still on the chase for a PSA 10 of this. I don't think I'm ever going to get it, but I'm willing to spend $30,000 on a PSA 10.
I would have to go and look and see what the pop count is on the 10s. I can't imagine there's many.
65.
Ooh, 65. Wow. Okay. Lower than I thought, honestly.
No, 65 and mostly old label.
Sure, I'm sure.
Mostly old label.
I know we're talking
about a secret. Now the ones who's listing it for $100,000, got to buy the $100,000 one. You know, if that sold at $100,000 on eBay because of this video, oh my god.
30K is the cap on that. We said it here.
It's 31. I'm willing to spend 30K.
Okay, there we go.
So this is the Kobe that I decided to keep for myself.
Oh yeah.
This is his first sneaker auto from National Treasures out of 39.
I love the sneaker cards. I can't get enough of those.
Only 39 of us have this, and they re-released this on a different year, and it was a card that's lying down, and it was sticker.
Okay.
This is on.
Right.
This is undervalued. The last comp on this at the BGS 9 is 3,700. Mm-hmm. But other cars are selling for $10,000. I'm pretty sure this is more than $10,000. You know, just because of the novelty of it. People don't know what they're buying nowadays.
It's true.
So they would spend, $10,000 on an in-flight auto that just got released. I had one of those come in. I sold it right away because I couldn't believe how much they're going for. But to me, there's a 99 version, there's a 49 version, there's a 25 version, a 10 out of 10, and the black. There's so many copies of those. It doesn't deserve 10 grand. There's only 39.
Right.
You know. So those are my PCs. I kept a few LeBrons.
Sure.
I right now I'm buying Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan autos, whatever I can. I just missed out on the BGS 9510 Jordan auto on eBay for $8,000. I was stupid enough to tell myself this is too much money, and it sold.
Of course. So would you say that you predominantly focus on autos of the guys that you like?
Personally, I'm not a Kobe fan.
Okay.
The thing is, he's not signing no more. And at the end of the day, he's always going to be top 10 NBA. So I'm very selective what Kobe autos I want to buy. The ones that I don't want, I buy to invest and resell. And the ones I really like, I will keep.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron and Jordan, we all know they're signed with Upper Deck. You're going to get their autos in Goodwin and stuff like that. But to get their autos on an NBA jersey, almost impossible. The only thing that would make that possible now if Panini buys Upper Deck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Panini is going to lose their rights anytime soon. They're throwing so much money into it, and they're making so much money into it. I don't think they will ever give up their exclusivity unless the NBA says, you know what, we don't want monopoly.
Right. Exactly.
So I do have a PC of unique autos. Like I have a Mark Cuban auto. I have what's the name of that announcer that died?
Sager.
Yeah, I have a Craig Sager auto. I have Ricky gave me an auto of I forgot the name of the referee. Bavetta?
Yes, yeah. Yep.
Bavetta. So I kept one of those. I kept a few Daryl Dawkins autos because he passed away too from Cliff Robinson's. I have a Dennis Johnson auto. And one of my price ones that I'm very familiar with is I have a Danny Ainge auto. Danny Ainge only signed 2 cards.
Really?
Yep. So I have a Danny Ainge auto that's back pulled. You rarely would see that. My regret is selling my Phil Jackson Gold Standard Coach auto as a Laker. He only has one Coach auto as a Laker. It's out of 25 from Gold Standard. I sold it for $800 now. I think it's like $3,000. It's not with Jordan still. I tried to buy it back, but he wanted full price on it, and I can't buy it if I sold it to you for
Right.
I do want it back someday. The thing is that I was afraid of keeping that auto because Panini can always make another one.
Right.
It carried value because of the rarity of things. I bought a Craig Hodges Bulls auto, paid a little for it before because he didn't sign much. Now Panini started making Bulls autos of him. Another rare auto right now is a John Sally Laker auto. You rarely see that, but they can print anytime because John Sally signs all the time. They just are not making Laker autos. The only thing I don't know if he's ever going to sign is Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I mean, it was a shock to me when Barkley signed with Panini, and I know a lot of Barkley collectors were not very happy because of the exact same thing we're talking about. They can just start printing, even if you just collect Suns Barkley, they can throw a Suns picture in there and slap a sticker, or have him do it in person. But I had heard rumors about people thinking Duncan might sign, but I'm like, why? Like, that doesn't fit Duncan's brand, and I don't think he's really hurting for money. So. But it could happen. I mean, anything's possible.
He lost $20 million on his investor. His investor
That's right.
Walked away with cash. The thing is, in replacement, I bought a Duncan Larry Johnson dual auto just to have one, and I have a signed Duncan basketball certified by PSA.
Yeah, that co-signers, right? The Larry Johnson, Tim Duncan.
Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I can afford. I don't want to splurge money on him. So having a good player sign with him, bought it for $150, I'll take that.
For sure. for sure.
It's just something for fun. I like cards that people don't have. I like cards that I can say, only a few of us have.
Mm-hmm.
I sold my Jordan Rookie 9.5. Don't ask for how much. Way back in 2016, BGS 9.5, just because everybody has a Jordan Auto. Jordan Rookie.
Right. Yep.
They reprinted that. I'd rather keep the Star Refractor reprint. From 84. I have actually 2 of those. Rather than keeping a rookie card of Jordan.
Yeah.
If I were to own a rookie card of Jordan, it's going to be the Star. But the thing is, PSA doesn't grade it.
Right.
So I'm probably not going to own it. If it's not PSA, I'm probably not going to own it.
And there's been some speculation whether or not. So I'm not sure if you're familiar, but Adam, the 27 guy on Instagram and Twitter, he's got the Basketball Card Podcast, and he started a magazine. It's a digital magazine called the Basketball Card Fanatic. Really fun read. It comes out monthly. So it's kind of like he's trying to relive or bring back the glory days of the great articles that we used to pour over in Beckett. So he had an interview with Nat, and Nat, he recently, Adam posted this quote that Nat had about the Star Rookie Jordan, XRC, and his thoughts on it. Because a lot of people have been wondering, will a guy like Nat, with the information and knowledge he has, start getting PSA back into grading the Star Rookies? So just speculation at this point, but I know Nat is a fan of the Star Jordan XRC, and it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Well, I hope not. I hope they leave it as is, because that might affect the brand of PSA if they start doing it again. Some people will be happy, some people won't be happy, but the thing is, they've had a stand against grading Star all these years.
Right.
And I think just to be on the consistent note, and a consensus that everybody, basically live with that thing for years. I think they need to leave it alone. Like what's happening to the game itself. Adam Silver wants to change certain rules of the game, and some is okay. Some ideas are okay. Some ideas will just change every single statistic recorded before.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people until today would mock the 101-point game of 100-point game of Will Chamberlain, because they say, oh, there's no 3-point line then.
Right.
So you can't compare that to today, and so on and so forth. So if you keep changing rules like that, it does affect the followers. It does affect, comparison from one to the other. So me personally, my stand on that, I hope they don't. But it is what it is. It's up to them. We'll see.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. Who knows what will happen with that? But new things always, right? We're always ready for new news and new changes and all that kind of stuff. So,
but the only change I want to happen is one thing that I don't think is going to happen soon is getting another company doing basketball cards.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, it's almost impossible. Panini has the rights of every single major player autograph. So if you're Topps or Upper Deck or any other player, you go in, the superstars are already signed with Panini. Who do you have?
Yeah, it's very tough. And I mean, like you were saying, I think that the only way that we're going to see another company get into basketball cards, producing basketball cards again, is if the NBA decides to go away from an exclusive license. I know a lot of people, I see a lot of people posting, and tagging Upper Deck on Twitter and saying, please come back to cards. And I would love to see it too. But they don't even have the collegiate license anymore for basketball. So unless the NBA opens it up, I don't see anybody really competing on a real level with Panini.
Well, Panini even have the rights to digital cards now.
Yeah, which is, how do you feel about the blockchain cards?
How do I feel? Do we have a whole segment for that? I'm against it. I don't like it. I know it's the digital era, but it's spreading something in the air. Mm-hmm. You don't have possession of it. For me, I don't want to own something that I can hold. Now I
For
know
sure.
some blockchains are physical cards, but that also takes away the thrill of pulling a logo man, because now you can buy a logo man from blockchain. Like I said earlier, that's the reason why I'm a little bit not a fan of RPAs, of logo mans, of patches.
Hmm.
It's because they can just print this stuff. You
Right.
know, um, I'm like you. If I can get hold of a '90s card, I'd rather do that because they can't change that no more. That's history.
Right.
So I'm like you on that. The thing is, I have to keep myself going. That's why I have to buy Lillards and Eddie Jones, because especially with the prices now, those are the only people I really want to spend money on.
Mm.
And I can't buy those Luca logo mats, even though I'm a fan of Luca. You know, I'd rather buy. I bought the Fanatics jersey, the one that's signed. I have one of those, so that to me was a good deal. I only spent like $350 for that. So I try to be
Not
practical
bad.
when I buy stuff too.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny talking about Eddie Jones. I just did an article with Eric Norton from Beckett on Eddie Jones, and we like to pick a card and talk about not only the card but also the shoes that the player wore. So we were talking about Eddie Jones and some Jordans, and I'm thinking I need to go do some research, and you might know. But like some of those shoe cards from Immaculate are really cool. I need to see if there's any really cool Eddie Jones shoe cards. I don't
Well,
want to give
Eddie
any.
Jones doesn't have a shoe card from what I know. The thing is,
No.
I collect autos, so
Right.
but I don't think that he has a shoe card, or else I would have known.
Bummer.
He does have two patch autos.
Okay.
One I think was from Immaculate. I own both.
Mhm.
I own both. I forgot what brand was the other one. I think the other one was Innovation. But
Okay.
he only has two patch autos. I'll send you a picture on Messenger that you can
Sure.
post once you do the editing on this thing. But there's only two patch autos of Eddie Jones. Most of his
Okay.
cards are just regular signed. He does have the Temple College card.
Right.
Graph. I have 3 sets of those.
Okay.
3 Temple sets. I wanted to do more, but it was getting expensive. So, I'm happy with 3 sets. I like set chasing. The thing is, it's so hard to set chase nowadays.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
copy I showed you, the shoe auto, I was trying to
Yep.
make a set of that way back in the
Really?
day. I was almost there, then some other collector was also building a set and convinced me to sell mine. You know. I even sold him the Kobe, and I had to have the Kobe back, so I bought it back on eBay.
Wow. Wow, that would be quite an impressive set to put together. I can only imagine the different pieces too that must be in there.
It's
That
a
would
weird
prove
set
it.
though, because it had Kyrie,
Okay.
had Anthony Bennett, the best #1 draft pick overall.
Gotta love Anthony Bennett.
It had Victor. Was it Victor Oladipo?
Oladipo.
It had CJ McCollum. It had
Okay.
Kelly Olynyk. The best cards will be Kyrie, Shaq, Alonzo Mourning, Kobe, and Durant for that set.
It's quite a list.
I do have 2 sets of the Classmasters.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen me post that on Facebook, but Classmasters is a case hit from Elite, and I have 2 sets, and I have 4 of the LeBrons. Everybody's
Wow.
bugging me for it. I have one
Sure.
of the 395s out there, and those cards are numbered to 99. So those cards are a chase.
I can only imagine. Wow. And of course, people are like, "Well, you have doubles, right? You can just move one. You don't care."
Well, there's some designs that when you see it, you just want every copy of it.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely inserts of Penny, like some of them non-numbered. That there's tons of them, and it's just like every time that I see one, I'm just like, man, I love that card. I want another one. It's just, and then you look at the differences between this one. Think about some of the history behind it. I'm sure with patches too, you can only imagine, or like some of the variations in autographs. Sometimes I've got a couple of Penny cards that the same card that he's autographed, and there's differences on each of the autographs. And I think about why.
So,
I got a sticker one time.
A couple months ago, a friend of mine sent me a Penny Hardaway refractor rookie for grading.
Yep.
He got a PSA 10.
Wow.
Good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are so tough because the greening is like, I it's very hard to find one without any greening. It's next to impossible.
It's not just the greening; it's the centering too.
Absolutely, the centering's horrible.
Yep. he gemmed it, and he's an old school collector. He collected with me when we were in the Philippines. We're both now here in California, and yeah, he's a Grand Hill Penny fan back in the day. So I was happy for him to gem that.
Absolutely.
And he's so lucky to gem recently a Topps Gold rookie of Shaq.
Yep, that one's on fire right now. Wow. So he's, and it's funny because some people, myself included, in the 90s when we were collecting, didn't take as much care as maybe we should have of our cards. So sometimes finding, like we've talked about, finding a card that's 20, 30 years old that grades well is not easy to do, and I think people take it for granted sometimes. But that's absolutely, I can't imagine, all the wrong cards
didn't exist until the late 90s. People only used grading before for authentication, not for getting a gem mint. No. So I remember when Beckett first launched, it was like 96 or 97. We started advertising grading. It wasn't a thing then, and people didn't want to spend that much money to slab a card. Everybody was using screw downs and binders.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a couple cards that I still have in the screw downs from when I was a kid, and I'm almost afraid to open those up because I can only imagine, they're stuck or who knows
what happened. So somebody from SMC sent me a Jordan, the 45 refractor.
Yep.
It was in an encapsulation called Final Authority.
Okay.
So the card, even on the slab, it was really bad.
Okay.
It was discolored and everything, and they asked me to crack. It was the first time I've ever handled that slab, and when I cracked it and opened it, the peel stuck to the slab. Luckily for me, the owner of the card was willing for me not to give him anything in cash, and I just gave him the bronze refractor of Jordan PSA 8 in return. He didn't actually want any compensation, but I felt really, really bad about it.
Sure.
So I told him, you know what, no, take this, and he thought it was more than a fair replacement, But after that, I told Brian, I'm never gonna crack anything anymore.
No
for anybody.
Way.
Yeah,
I mean, some of those off-brand slabs. I did a video where I cracked, I cracked a PSA and a BGS, and then I had BCCG, and then a couple other kind of no-name brands. And like those off-brand, the plastics and just the method that they use, those things are the biggest nightmare to crack. People who think they're going to take like a GMA and crack it, and it's going to be an easy job. It's sometimes you get lucky, but a lot of times I found that's not the case.
One fact. People attempted to cross over SGC 9.5s and 10s.
Okay.
0 success.
Interesting.
0 success.
Any of those, the gold? I know they just started doing the gold labels. They're supposed to be kind of like their top.
Not yet, but
okay.
9.5s and 10s, Brian tried to cross a finest Kobe rookie.
Okay.
SGC 10. Didn't cross. He wanted a PSA 11 too, so
who doesn't?
Yeah,
I was joking around.
The cracking game. I'm a little bit so worn down now. Somebody from same thing. Ship My Cards asked me to crack a Kobe Topps rookie BGS 9.5.
It's a great card.
Again, are you sure? He goes, yeah. Are you sure? He said, yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. Came back a PSA 8.
Oh, man, that hurts. Ugh.
And he's still doing it. He's still asking me to crack stuff.
Oh, wow.
I told him, you know what? Tell Brian to crack. I don't want to crack. I don't want to know no more.
Right.
At least if somebody else cracks it for me and it comes to me raw, I don't know if it was a 9.5 before.
Sure. Yeah. You're none the wiser.
It's a 9.5 before. I just squirm.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm a PSA guy. You saw my letters. It's mostly BGS, right? I won't even dare cracking it.
No.
You know.
Yeah, and I really love and maybe it's because I'm an old '90s head, but I love BGS slab cards, and right now it's one of those things. I like the 8.5s and better just because I don't like that white paper flip that they use on the 8 and lower. But if I can find a card, and sometimes like you find an 8.5 of a card that sells, the BGS 8.5, sometimes they'll sell the similar price or same price as a raw card, and I have no problem grabbing those. I love them.
Well, that's the reason why a lot of people like PSA, because of the uniformity of the label.
Yep.
The
Absolutely.
color coding of silver, gold, and white on BGS is probably the reason why a lot of PSA guys don't like BGS. Me, I like the fact that BGS will put subgrades, but I think it's working against them. The reason being is because of those subgrades, people crack their slabs.
Sure.
Have you ever heard anybody crack a PSA 10?
Right.
But you hear everybody cracking a BGS 9.5.
Yep.
And you rarely hear people cracking a PSA 9 and submitting to BGS. They'll crack a PSA 9 to resubmit to PSA.
Sure. Yep.
And that's the reason why I think any other grading company is less superior than PSA. It's simply because, the pop reports of these other companies are probably, ruined because of PSA. People send me SGC, BGS, GMA stuff, and BCCG. Nothing comparable. People send me BCC G10s thinking they're gonna get a 9. BCC Gen.
That's so easy.
BCC G10 is like a PSA 7, 6. Because on their slab, if you read properly, it's gem mint. It's mint or better or something like that.
Yeah. I think it's near mint or better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Near mint or better is this scale.
Big gap. Exactly. Well, and I heard a podcast where Dr. James Beck was talking about BCCG grading, and he just he obviously helped develop it, but he gave some insight into that, where those were supposed to be very specific bulk type of submissions and very unique submissions, and he was like, if I'm going to buy a card, I'm probably going to get the BGS. So
on a side topic, SGC changed their grading system, right?
Yes. Yep.
One big mistake they didn't change their name. Now you have the same grading company with 2 different standards, 2 different grades. How does the pop report on that?
You can't match those up.
Right? They should have tweaked the name a little bit.
Yep.
And started from Pop 0 for everything. That was a big mistake.
That's I haven't heard anybody talk about that, but I think that's a really interesting thought. That probably a pretty big missed opportunity.
People ask me all the time if I want to set up a grading company with them and partner with them, because I look at cards every single time.
Right.
I'm going to tell the secret out there. If anybody wants to at least be competitive with BGS and PSA, the secret is the registry.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Having a solid registry. Anybody who does want to start off a grading company, number one, you can't do it in the backyard or your basement of the house or the garage. You have to set up a small company. You have to start off at a small scale, wherein you should start maybe just doing basketball all Panini, to start off. Then the key is your registry. One thing that BGS and PSA hasn't offered, and it's too late for them to offer, is that if they can take a picture of every single card graded and put it on the website. If somebody has the technology and the genius to do that, that is the stepping stone of being competitive to these 2 giants.
Right.
So if each card is, especially for patches and numbered cards, if somebody tries to switch something, a patch or something like that, and you have a photo of the original one, that's an advantage you will have with other companies. A friend of mine, Arthur, just sent me a picture of a Jordan, a very old Jordan. I don't know the name of the card, but there's a hand-numbered version and there's a non-hand-numbered version of it.
Okay.
And today there's a copy of a BGS and a PSA of it with the same numbering.
Really?
Same numbering. So nobody knows now who has the real thing. You know? So I don't know. Let me see if I can get the picture here.
Yeah. Well, while you're looking, I saw. Oh, you got it. Oh yeah, the shoe.
So this is the 5.5 BGS.
Okay.
This is hand numbered to 23, I think.
23 out of 23.
So that's the 5.5, right?
Yep.
And the other one was a PSA, and the hand numbering itself is different. So that's a PSA one.
We may never know.
But that's where, you know, the photo authentication clearly, you know, poses an advantage.
Absolutely. It was a couple years ago, I think, in the Penny Hardaway group with Brian. He had made a post where the 97-98 Flair Showcase Row Zero Penny Masterpiece, so 1 of 1. There were 2 that both got graded, I think, by BGS. You know, so clearly people, you know, looked at the 2 cards and poured over the differences to be able to tell, like, okay, was it a card that got resubbed, or are they 2 separate cards? And they were identified as 2 very distinct different cards, but there's really no way to tell at this point because both of them have been authenticated and graded by BGS. I believe it was BGS. So which one is fake?
I called Panini about those patch switchings.
Yep.
So I got a possession of a card that I had thoughts that somebody switched a patch. And I asked them the question, do you have a registry of which patches did you release for certain cards for certain numbering? And the response to me was, we don't have the manpower to do that. We don't have a database. The only way we will know if it's switched if you send it back to us and let our people look at the card and investigate it. You know, so that's one of the reasons why I don't touch patch autos unless I pull it myself.
Sure.
You know?
One of you know, friend of the show was, as some of the YouTubers say, Kyle from the Wax Museum podcast. He's a teacher, and on his summer one year, I think it was a year, or it might have been 2 years ago now, he started a website where he calls it his RPA tracker, where he started tracking some of the top, you know, rookie patch autos from National Treasures, and went serial number by serial number, where he has the pictures that he's gotten from online, and tries to get a picture of each serial number in, you know, the sequence. So that way, exactly like what we're talking about, you can go and look and see in 2012 it had this, in 2013, you know, it sold and it looked like this, and all of a sudden 2018 it shows up and it's got a new patch, or it's got a white auto. I don't know all the players he has on there. I think he's got AD, I think Giannis, I think he started with Luka. You know, I'd have to go and look, and he'd probably yell at me and say, "I can't believe you don't know." No, but I don't know if Donovan Mitchell's on there, but maybe we can make a request and see if he can add that when he's got some spare
on the
time.
Facebook group. There's a Donovan Mitchell. Switch out 3 times.
No kidding.
So the original patch, then a totally different patch, then they put back the original patch upside down.
Oh my goodness.
And it's all slab. I think 2 of them were slab BGS, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Yeah, and he'd actually reached out to one of the grading companies and asked them about, you know, you guys slabbed this, you know, graded it, authenticated, you know, it's very clearly a fake patch, or, you know, something had gotten swapped. And I think the response that he got is, you know, we are grading the card, we're not authenticating the memorabilia inside of it, which didn't really sit well with many people because, you know, the memorabilia inside of it's part of the card, a very big part of the card in some cases.
And
so
that's one of the reasons why I like PSA better, because my experience with BGS before, if you know, the altered versus the minimum size required.
Yep.
So for Beckett, if it's cut a little shorter, even though it's not altered, especially in the 90s cards, some of them are cut smaller, right?
Absolutely.
They say altered and they charge you the fee. PSA, they will only put altered if they see any sort of restoration or coloring or anything like that.
Right.
If the specs just is smaller than what they know and it's cut right, they put minimum size required and they don't charge you. That's a huge difference in terms of saving money. Like, Ship My Cards just sent me a LeBron rookie. Okay, I think it was the Bowman. It's been BGS 9.5, and this was in my last video. And sent to PSA. PSA put their minimum size required and didn't charge the guy. The guy paid for the $200 service, and they didn't charge him. But imagine a BGS 9.5, which is shorter, got slapped.
So that makes me think. So if, let's just say I submitted a card with BGS and they said, oh, it's it's been altered. Let's say it's got coloring or it's got a trimmed edge or something like that, and I send the same one to PSA. Are you saying that if PSA sees that it's altered or trimmed or whatever the case may be, and they are not going to slab it, that they won't charge for that?
If they view it as altered, means to say you colored it, or altered means to say somebody used a box cutter to sharpen the sides, and they can determine that, then they will charge you. It's going to come back altered or restored.
Gotcha.
If it just because from the factory they think it came out shorter, they're just going to put minimum size RQ, and they won't charge you. So there's certain cards like the Kobe's hologram from SPX.
Yep.
That usually comes in minimum size required. That's usually cut shorter on from the manufacturer. So if you buy that graded PSA, that's actually even a 9 carries a premium, because a lot of those cards get returned. I've had about 20 people submit the same card, different owners, different card of the same exact card of Kobe.
Yep.
And all comes back minimum size required.
Wow. That makes me feel a little bit better about my PSA 8 Iverson that I don't remember where I got it. It's an old slab, but makes me feel better about that SPX. And I have a couple raw ones I was thinking about. Maybe I get these slabs of Iverson and Kobe. And I'm guessing the same is probably true because I have Hollow View Heroes, the insert of Jordan from that 97 SPX set. So I think I'll keep those raw then.
Yeah, because I learned this before. My friend from the Philippines, Hanyo, he pulled one of those Kobe autos that looks like a shadow box.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he pulled it, and he posted it right away when he pulled it. Then he sent it to me from the Philippines to Beckett when I was still with Beckett then. And it came back altered. Then we sent it again. They slab it. And he got charged twice.
Jeez. But at least you got it slabbed, right? At the end of the day.
The thing is, you don't want to be wasting money like that.
Right.
So
yeah.
I have my, both companies. I do love the subgrades, but I think the subgrades also entices people to crack and sub endlessly.
Yeah.
That's one of the appeals of Beckett. But for me, it's also a marketing thing, especially the black label. I own one black label, and I'm pretty sure I can tell you straight out that submitting more than 5,000 cards to Beckett, I probably only black labeled like 4 things. So it's really very hard. But to me, the black label is also a gimmick because everybody's chasing that,
Yeah.
And is there really such thing as a pristine?
Like the perfect card?
No, when you tell pristine to me, it means it's never been touched.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know if I would want a pristine, card, because there's always going to be something on the card.
Well, and I think about, I don't know if you remember, one of those products that I love is 2001 Flair Authority. And they had cards that they sent directly, presumably from the line where they were produced to BGS, and they actually had packs that had BGS slab cards in the box. There were 4 packs that were just one BGS slab card, and those things, I think the best I have seen, I pulled I think a 9.5 one time. But those are extremely rare. These, again, presumably have not really been touched. And, if they know that they're going to be sending these off to BGS, you'd think that they'd be very careful to cut them so the centering's just right and the edges are perfect. I see a lot of 8s and 8.5s coming out of those packs. So, I mean, those are ones that you'd think they're paying a lot of close attention to.
It's like saying Panini flawless is not flawless.
Right.
Panini and case is the same thing, right? You would think coming from Panini straight to BGS, you get more 9.5s, and you still have 8s and 9s, and
Exactly.
Oh, I get that a lot of times. People will send me stuff in mag sealed by Panini, and they're expecting gem mint, and I go, not because it's sealed by Panini, you're gonna get a gem mint. Actually, being in magnetic, Panini tends to use oversized magnetics, not exactly for the card, and as you ship them, they move around.
Absolutely. I cringe sometimes when I get cards sent to me in a mag in the mail. I would much prefer it being a penny sleeve and a top load, or a penny sleeve and a card saver even. Those mags scare me sometimes with shipping. Storing them at your house where they're not going to be jostled around, that's one thing, but not for shipping for me.
Now, Brian has this thing like slab guards.
Yep.
You put the card in a slab to protect the card. Now you need to protect the slab.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some slabs get pretty scratched out, but I'm like, do I really need to have another layer of protection for what's protecting the card? I'm not sure I'm there yet.
Well, the thing is with slabs, even if it's slab, you don't want to be carrying those slabs around every single time.
Exactly.
Because, those things are not meant to be handled as frequently, as you want. That's why you have those greening. That's why you have those bottles that are fading, because it's exposed to light.
Yeah, those acetates that go yellow, nasty.
Yeah, so there's so much stuff that a lot of people don't know, and they just sometimes with their questions. I know they're new to the hobby, but sometimes I've heard that question so many times that I don't know if I have the resources or the breath to answer all the same questions again and again. I wish I can just put a blog out there and people would read, but you've seen Facebook, people don't read.
It's absolutely true. I mean, that's part of the reason why I started this channel, and I get questions very regularly that there are videos out there answering already. So
remember the Facebook group that I have, the 101?
Yes. Yep.
I don't know if you visited that because I haven't been active there for quite a while. But if you look at my top picks there, those cards are all high dollar now.
Absolutely.
I wish I listened to myself.
If only we would practice what we preach sometimes, right?
Well, the thing is, you get impatient too. Like the colored second-year prisms, the Target exclusive in the Walmart.
Yep.
I knew those were going to go up. But which player? That's the one question. But I posted Giannis there. I featured Giannis there.
See,
and I remember owning the Target Red PSA 10, which is now what, $18,000. I sold that for $150. $150.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But I did feature the Classmasters there, and that's one thing that's going up in price right now. So I still listen to myself a little bit.
The trends.
No, I like studying the market. I like when I study the market, I don't go off eBay. I go off the production, the rarity, who's in the set, the appeal of the card. That's what I go after. That's why I don't get this silver hype thing. I like refractors, but if you keep on seeing the same card again and again, it becomes less attractive to me. Absolutely.
Yeah, scarcity matters for sure. I mean, there are a lot of cards that I enjoy. Like I think of 95-96 Fleer Metal. There's an insert set called Metal Force. Really cool looking stuff, acetate. Jordan's not in the set. There's really the biggest name in there. Right? Yeah, Rodman and Magic Johnson are the biggest names in there. And they're cool for me to have, but I don't expect them to go anywhere because there's not those names that are really going to drive attention. Jerry Stackhouse, Grant Hill. Some great guys from the 90s. I love those. But, Big Dog Glenn Robinson isn't getting any more popular.
The one thing I'm still looking for of a good player, whether it's Kobe or Shaq or Jordan, is the Slam Bam.
Oh, man, those are hard.
Those are very hard.
It's one of those cards that I've heard people talk about that I wonder, are there really 100 of them printed? Because other cards that are serial number to 100 seem to pop up a lot more frequently than those Slam Bams do.
They're probably 100 printed, but people put it on their, use it as stickers in their notebooks and stuff like that.
Right. Tape it to the outside of their books or something and bring it to school.
Because remember, back in that day,
Hoops was nothing. Hoops was nothing. Yeah. Pulled out of a retail pack and some kid just forgot about it.
Right now talking about it.
I know, right? Yeah, it hurts me to think about where some cards ended up and, how much we would want
I know
those,
a Jordan collector in the Philippines. He had nice stuff, and his house got flooded.
Yeah, man.
Danielle also had some stuff got flooded.
Yeah, I remember. That's right. I remember her talking about that. Man.
So never a good thing to hear, but that also, lessens the production out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been a blast. I've learned a bunch, and I really appreciate you taking some time out to chat and share your wealth of knowledge. I can only imagine, we could probably go, for a whole day and still be learning new things. So I'll let you get back to your family. But before I let you go, whenever I have a guest on, I always ask them for a question of the day. We like to do question of the day for the end of all of our episodes. So do you have a question that you would like to ask for the question of the day?
Of course. I want to pick your brain.
Oh, boy. So for me, okay. All right.
It's a question for you.
All right.
What's your thoughts on custom cards?
Say that again?
On custom cards.
Oh,
People
custom
who
cards.
make cards.
Yeah. Like the ACOs. I
like the hot numbers of LeBron and Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Hot numbers is created 1995 and LeBron is 2003 and Kobe is 1996.
Somehow they're in there, right? Yeah. No, I really hate custom cards. It's a thorn in my side when I go online and I see a custom card. And eBay, I'll see PMG Red Jordan custom lenticular. And of course they're hoping somebody's looking for the PMG Red and they're going to pick it up for, whatever they're asking. Yeah, those are a big thorn in my side. I think they're an issue in the hobby, personally. Now, where I see that they're cool and they're fun is when, like, let's say somebody that makes custom cards, I go to them and say, can you make a card of me? Or can you make a card, and I am giving it to somebody as a gift, can you make a card of my brother? I think that'd be really fun for him. Like, those are cool. I think that those are great.
A card that I'm dunking over this player.
Exactly. I think there's a place for those because those are, really cool, but they're also very specific to, a person that's getting it. And it's not something that's trying to be a gimmick, like when we saw the Zion custom rookies with the rated rookie logo, but they aren't Panini cards. So that's my feeling. I despise custom cards. What about you? Do you want to answer?
Well, my stand on that. You've been on Facebook. I've been attacked and hated because I don't allow those in my groups. But for me, companies spend a lot of money to get the copyrights and the licenses for this thing. That's the reason why people are after certain cards for value. My stand is always, and forgive me for saying this, if you can't afford to buy a card, you should not be collecting.
Sure.
And
there's a price point for everybody. Just because you want to collect LeBron doesn't mean you have to have his top scoring rookie. There's other stuff out there that you can get.
Yeah, I enjoy my Eddie Jones as much as every other card I have.
Exactly. Yep, for sure. So the other thing I want to make sure, is there anything that you would like to share or promote or plug with the audience?
Well, I now am organizing shows in Southern California. My partner is Kobe Longfam. We do the Westminster Boys and Girls Club show. We do it every month. The next show is probably going to be on the 3rd of April. We don't make any money out of the actual promotion. What we do is we try to book like 35 dealers. The money that we get from the tables, which we usually charge like only $35 per table. We use part of the money to hire people to control the crowd for COVID reasons. Then half of whatever is left goes to investing for more, tables and chairs for future shows. Then the rest, the other half gets donated to the Boys and Girls Club.
Wow.
There are so many promoters here right now in Southern California, but we do it for a cause. We just want a fun show and a safe show to be at, and that's why we do it. And the other thing is, I just would like to take this opportunity to give credence to a friend of mine. His name is Tim Pendleton. He used to set up with the shows with us, and he recently passed away due to COVID. May he rest in peace. He was a very fun guy to be with at the shows and stuff like that, and not that many people know him, but I would like to pay tribute to him, with this video today.
Absolutely. I'll make sure to add that in there for sure. I thank you for sharing that. That's horrible to hear. So I'm glad that you guys are also making sure that everybody's safe at the shows, because
we canceled a couple of shows because of COVID.
Sure.
When numbers are up, we're not going to force a show. We don't want to be responsible.
Absolutely. Yep. More important things, right?
Yeah, I kept on yelling at people the other day for trying to put down their mask. Again, even at the shows, I'm the bad cop. Somebody has to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Jay. I'm sure we'll be talking soon. So, thanks.
Hopefully this is a hit, so we can do a segment 2.0, 3.0, 4.0.
Yes, I love that. For sure. We will have to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
So, thank you for the opportunity. More power to you and your blogs. I enjoy watching some, your stuff. I see less pack openings now. I wish I could see more. I know it's very hard to get, 90 packs now.
Absolutely.
If I find something cheap, I'll send it your way.
I appreciate that. Yes, I'm always on the lookout, so anything you can find.
Well, I have a sealed box here, but I don't know if you're going to enjoy it if you want it. 90 hoops.
You know what? I will rip anything. It's always fun.
Send me your address. I'll send you a box.
Awesome. I will send that to you.
This is the one.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is
that
the one.
Menendez?
The
Menendez brothers. Yep.
It's I don't know if it's Series 1 or 2 that I have. It's the red box.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's got the Sam Vincent with the Jordan number 12 in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be. Those are fun.
It will be fun. They just made Panini just made a tribute set for that set.
Yeah, I saw that, and those are pretty cool looking. I like those.
So maybe it's good timing if I send you a box. Maybe you can kind of compare the new Panini one and the old school.
I'll have to get some. I'll have to find a KG. I don't know if there's any Iversons for that retro set. I'll have to take a look at what there is out there.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Shoot me your address after this. I'll send you a box tomorrow.
Absolutely, will do. I appreciate it.
Wow, that was a lot of fun. So Jay and I actually, I usually film these pretty late at night, and we stay up very late chatting about cards, even after and before the interview that you just saw. So a lot of fun. Thank you again, Jay. I had a blast, and like you said, hopefully we get to do part 2, 3, 4, 5, and continue on with these. I'm sure there will be lots of other conversations we'll be able to have both publicly and privately on video, hopefully, as well. So maybe even in person if we're lucky at some point in the near future. So I hope you also enjoyed that and learned a little bit as I did in that conversation. Jay is just a fountain of knowledge and always willing to help collectors along the way. If you have any questions, by all means, always reach out to me if need be. But as you saw, Jay has a different expertise than I do, so if there's some questions that you think he may be especially equipped to be able to handle, I'm sure that he would be more than happy to help. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you've gotten to this point and you haven't subscribed, please help the channel grow and do so. Hit that bell icon so you don't miss any videos in the future. New videos like this, looks into my PC, collector interviews, pack openings, all kinds of fun stuff. Always dropping on Wednesdays. Any bonus content will also drop on Fridays. Thanks. We'll talk later.